The man, the myth, the legend.
Fucking shit.
Mr. Danny.
Telling you.
So, Danny, me and you had a discussion. New truck versus old truck one time. We talked for about 45 minutes
Yep.
several months ago.
Yep.
What's your take on the old iron right here, though?
See, now it's a particular old iron, though. You got to have the right guy with old iron. If you had, I mean, the way I would say it like this, how much time, energy, and effort did you have to put into this? And how much mechanic skills? I mean, you're in a fucking jumper right now. A mechanic jumper right now.
Well, that's not because I'm a mechanic. That's because I don't like to wear jeans and shirts.
But you can rip the whole motor apart.
I could, yeah.
Right.
It's simple, though. Because it don't have all the electronics, all
well,
the...
let's talk about day one operator.
Yeah.
Okay, a day one operator, how are they going to handle an older rig? Right? So somebody completely inexperienced, no money in their bank, right? They don't have any kind of reserve, probably ain't got no more financials than 10 grand.
Yeah.
And then you give them
if you're running a fleet, I agree.
Well, no, not even a fleet,
New
but a
trucks.
brand new guy.
Yeah.
Now these kind of trucks, these old ones, the only reason they stay on the road is because they got an experienced guy in them that knows how to work on them, how to fix them, how to change them. You hit a car at 70 miles an hour and had your whole fucking bumper, front end, and everything done.
The damage is still there.
Yeah, but you had it fixed and running down the road with headlights on it and a new grill going inside of like a day and a half.
No,
half a
it
day.
took me 45 minutes.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
I ran 20 minutes up the road, pulled the parts off a salvage truck.
Right, but again,
But
get a guy that knows how to do it.
Yeah.
I'd actually pay you $500 if we walk in a parking lot and you can find 10 guys that have more than a fucking screwdriver and a pair of pliers.
yeah,
I don't think what I'm getting at when I say old versus new, cost of ownership wise, long term, these trucks, they can run a lot cheaper. But you're going to be putting in a lot of your labor, which is cost intensive. Even though you don't calculate it like that because it's you doing it. But your time, your energy, your
Yeah.
effort, still money. I just think that it's taking a special type of person to run this rig. I mean, goddamn, you got a manual transmission right there. Half the fucking world can't drive them right now. So right there alone has just stopped everybody from buying these. You know,
it's a pretty good old truck, though, ain't it?
yeah, dude, it's a good truck. They run just fine. Gets compliments everywhere it goes, mostly old timers.
Yeah.
And all the old timers like them because, but I mean, I can't tell you how many people laughed at your Prius thing on the side of your truck.
Oh, I got that a lot.
Everybody, everywhere I went.
Even the scale house, they get a kick out of it. I feel like it puts them in a good mood, so they
It lets them know right up
they
front.
tend to-
It lets them know right up front you ain't trying to be.
yeah.
But no, I mean, now I will say this though, being on paper, you know, or being a pre-emission truck like that where it's older and you can be on paper, it's a lifesaver.
It
You know,
is.
and get a lot of stuff done on paper. You know, get your crayons out and go to Crayola Town. You know what I'm saying? But most folks now.
I never did that. I was always legal, 100%.
Absolutely.
My books were always perfect.
Never violated a day in your life.
I never got cold, so I never had to pull over and burn logs. That's just my
Never
opinion.
had to. No, not never. No, I would say though, I mean, as far as the way this truck performs, like obviously, I mean, we're in a bind right now. Our truck, you know, our truck's not even 5 years old, gets rescued by a truck 23 years old.
Yeah.
What does that tell you? So but again, no emissions, no problems. And that's the biggest thing that most people don't understand. All the emissions that are on these trucks, if that had emissions right here, it'd be a dead duck. Just like any other truck. You know, too much pressure, too much issues, you know, too much combustion, trying to recirculate all that crap over and over, it's not healthy for it. But I think the cost of ownership on this truck initially is probably more. And then over the long run, if you do it right, probably less. But it's paid off, it's cheaper to get started with. But you got to be the guy. You got to be the person that knows how to deal with that truck. So when I make that comment and I say old versus new, I'm looking at it like if a guy's watching me on YouTube day one, trying to get into the industry and break out into it, is it sensible for him to go into something like this and have a problem? Not really. Maybe later on, but initially, nah, he's going to spend too much time, energy, and effort trying to fix something, unless he's mechanically inclined.
Yeah. Well, I still kind of disagree a little bit, just because
I know you do.
you don't have all the bells and whistles or the ticking time bombs that the new trucks have.
Agreed.
And if you could
100%
find good mechanics throughout the country
Agreed.
that work on this,
Agreed.
it's cheaper to work.
It can be.
It can be cheaper.
be,
Yes. Obviously, as y'all have seen in my previous videos, I got
I was about to say,
Up the
how
butt.
much did that cost?
up
how
to
much did
butt
that cost? real quick?
29,700. But at the time, I was in a bind, and that was during like the big boom. Nobody could, everyone I called was, oh, it's a month and a half before we can even look at it. Cummins said, yeah, we can get it right in. If I would have been smart, thinking back now, the smartest thing would have been to find a drop yard, drop the trailer, hire a hot shot, load it up on the trailer, get it back down here.
Yeah.
$8,000, I could have been back on the road in a week, and picking up my trailer and getting that load delivered.
Well, and the other thing with business, right? So you're a one-man operator, right? This truck is the lifeblood of your business.
Yeah.
Truck goes down, you're down. Truck stops running, you stop running. Truck doesn't make no money, neither do you. You're done. And that's the thing that when I say, like when I'm giving guys advice on things, right? If I take $29,000, if you take 29 grand and you rebuild a motor, you got a paid off truck for you. That's great. If I take 29 grand, I go down to the bank, I leverage that 29 grand against 160 grand worth of assets.
Yeah.
And then I can throw two guys in the truck. So if one goes down, I still got one earning.
Yeah.
Right. And then I'm not in that truck. So that's the way I look at it in this business with trucking is most of the folks that go out of business in trucking are because they're one-man operators and their entire lifeblood, their mortgage, their house, their bills, their groceries, everything's dependent on one truck.
Yeah.
So if that truck gets hurt in any way, shape, or form, you go out there and rip a hood off one of my trucks, that sucks. Sucks for the owner-operator, sucks for me, sucks for the company, sucks for everybody.
Yep.
However, the company's still earning money because there's other trucks out there. So if we have to front a repair for somebody and help them, we can do that because there's other money in the business. So when I'm looking at it, I'm saying like from a long-term perspective for me, if I'm making this my sole business, I need to look at it from a standpoint of how can I take the money I've got today, leverage that in the market to get me the most assets on the road possible to offset my risk, even though I'm taking on debt as risk, but I'm offsetting that.
I do agree with you
So
with that.
from that standpoint, I think as far as in your particular situation and your particular skill set, this is an all-day no-brainer. But that's for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's that one guy. That's that, I don't know how many you can count off the top of your head. I mean, you've been in trucking how long now?
A couple years minus me getting out now.
Okay.
Now I've had a CDL for the last going on 20 years.
Okay.
So I did honestly, I really didn't do a whole lot of driving period when I was in the oil field beside a pickup.
Right.
I drove some straight trucks the first 2 or 3 years of my career in the oil field. I've drove some Class A trucks,
Right.
but I mean, when I started this, really, I was like green.
Yeah.
As far as over the road.
And I knew you.
Now I had
you
the
have some of that.
background from managing
Right.
a company for the last 6 years that, we dealt with DOT every day.
Right.
Hazmat, explosives, the whole 9 yards. But
I mean, so you were fairly green when you come in, right?
as far as over the road, yes.
Right. And so what I'm talking about is imagine that guy without that skill set
Yeah.
coming into these trucks. Like, first of all the older trucks are probably manual transmission, almost all of them, because they don't make any older ones like that where they're automatics. So you got a manual transmission truck. Most folks can't drive manual transmission trucks anymore, it seems like. Hell, I even called a roadmaster up here in San Antonio. They don't even train people on manual trucks anymore.
Yeah.
They don't even throw them through
A
school.
lot of them are getting away from it.
Right. And so what you end up getting is you get a bunch of guys that are driving automatics. So if you know how to drive a manual transmission truck, this could be a great investment, provided you're mechanically inclined or you got resources, right?
Yeah.
And you need to have a little cash on hand. But if you're trying to grow a business, and it depends on what you want, because trucking's not, everybody doesn't want to grow a business in trucking. I don't think everybody has to.
Well, there's a lot of owner ops out there that's all they want to be. They don't
That's right.
have
That's right.
they don't to any want to grow
Right.
further.
Yeah, and I think that's fine.
And I understand that. I get it. And that's where I think we might disagree. I've never really talked with you about this, but when I do my numbers as a business, this is completely wrong. This isn't how you should do operate a business.
yeah.
But as a single owner operator,
Right.
in my opinion, they say know your numbers for the business.
Right.
Well, you got to add them home bills into them numbers
Correct.
if you want to
100%.
operate this truck
100%.
as a one man show,
Correct.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a big, you touched on it, but that's a big, giant misconception when people do numbers, right? Because I know guys that do numbers and it's just the truck.
Yeah.
I know guys that do numbers and it's the truck plus something. And it's like, no, the truck plus you on payroll. And not just you on payroll, like what you need to pay your bills, but what you need to actually pay your bills, save your money, invest in stocks or index or going out there and buying real estate, something for you to retire on, right? Not just a payroll that, well, if I cover my mortgage, I'm left with, I can operate for $1.25.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, no, dude, what do you need to actually survive on to thrive personally as well as financially for the business? And then breaking in things like a maintenance fund, 15 cents, 25 cents.
You've got to, right?
But there's
like
guys
I
that
was
don't.
talking to you the other day, right? You don't have to continually put that 15, 20 cents into a maintenance fund
Correct.
for the rest of your business, right? You need to put that back into the business
Right.
until you get at least enough to do a full out of frame overhaul, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think out of frame, I would go as far as to say out of frame overhaul,
And a transmission.
plus tires.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're talking $9,000, $10,000 just in tires, right? Depending on where you get them. So, but having that money on hand, and people get confused. It doesn't even have to be cash. It could be a line of credit. But there should be, if you're using a line of credit, there obviously should be some cash to pay for that line of credit, right? So you don't want a payment for the rest of your days. So I think if you put, we're talking what, 50 grand, about, give or take.
I would say conservative, 35.
Okay.
Roundabout. That'll cover you. Now on a newer truck, yes, I would say 50 grand because you're looking at 30,000 on an overhaul on a motor.
Right. Easy.
And if you got an automatic, you're looking at 15 grand.
Yeah.
15 grand.
And I mean, so let's say you put that 35 to 40 grand away, right? Once you have that put away, you don't need to put it in a maintenance fund, but that money should still be fairly saved, right? Whether that's a new truck payment fund, right? New down payment on another truck. We're going to trade in, we're going to upgrade, or hey, I want to improve something, right? And on these older trucks, right? Obviously, maybe it's saving to that, maybe you're going to save it for a rainy day and you get to the end of the year and you're like, you know what? I'd like to buy a new trailer. I'd like to put a new trailer behind this truck, or I'd like to do this or whatever else. It's the hardest thing we have right now in the industry and even in the fucking country is just people that don't live within their means. And so then they get in a bind because they're 125% in equity or upside down in debt, and they're sitting here trying to run these trucks. And it's like, you cannot come in here with 125% debt to income, be in a truck, make 65 grand a year, need 85 grand to live on, and then you got finance debt. Like, by the time you look at it, you're treading water at best. And then you're it's one wrong move away, one flat tire, one anything, one bad thing. Turbo blows, 7 grand, you're done. And it's like, that's where I try to get guys to understand, like, be as cost effective as you can. If I'm looking at an owner operator brand new and we look at him and say, okay, this guy's got 50 grand. He's got 50 grand to get in the door, 50 grand to run his business. He's got to start his business with 50 grand. How can I make it the most cost-effective way to start with 50 grand? For me, it's not 30,000 on a truck. For me, it's going to be, okay, 10,000 on that truck. We're going to put that down. We're going to have that financed as debt, right? We're leveraging. And then maybe not buying a trailer. Maybe we go and rent a trailer for 6 months till we even determine what kind of trailer. Do you want a combo, aluminum, all steel, spread, fixed, 53, 48, step, not step, like low pro? You can go through all that.
Van, reefer,
right.
Anything.
And so it's like, for me, I'm looking at it like, how can I take that 50, make this guy as cost effective as you can for 50, keep as much in a reserve as possible, and get him out there on that door running with a truck that's going to be as reliable as it could be for what the money is that he's coming in with. And these trucks here, in my opinion, when they come in, they need cash. They all need cash to some degree. But how much cash is determined on your skill set. For you, you got screwed. 29 grand. But like you said, if you didn't have that situation right then, or if you had known other options to address that, could have saved it, could have done it for 8 grand, and so that's in hindsight, but it's still 29 grand that went out the door. So we learned from it, but it's still a lot of money. And that's where I look at it from a standpoint of giving the best advice I can is saying, okay, if you're hell-bent and determined to come in the industry with 50 grand, what else can we do for you? How can we get you set up for 50 grand that makes the most sense today? That's where I look at it. So I don't speak at it from the reliability of the old trucks.
Yeah.
I love the old trucks. I mean, I rode a 97 387 for 4 years. Joker was the best truck I ever had. You know what I mean? A lot of quirks, a lot of little knickknacks, but nothing I couldn't figure out with the test slot, wrench, a couple things I needed to do. Easy. It's the same thing we did with your headlight, right? Knowing to swap one for the other, making that adjustment real quick, on the road, gone. No big deal. That's the thing that you got to have skill set to know that. And I think if you do get that skill set, you build it over time. But once you've got it built, these old trucks, if you put 40 grand in this truck right now, that'd be the cream of the crop. Like, there would be no other truck, like we're talking about tag axle and, you know, stretching out a little bit, doing all these things you want to do to it. It's a cream of the crop, and it's going to probably last you longer than any of the new plastic trucks on the road. You know, there's trucks. I mean, that's
And I still, a lot of people find it hard to believe, but this 23-year-old truck is getting as good, if not better, than a lot of your brand new plastic trucks.
Yeah, I got 7.65 miles a gallon, running 67 miles an hour.
And that is with 411 gears and a fan clutch that's engaged 100% of the time. Once I get that fixed, that takes around 30% of your power.
Yeah.
Having a fan that's constant on. So once I get that the fan clutch fixed, it's not a fan clutch issue. It's a brand new fan clutch. It's something on the firewall that I gotta fix, and it's kind of in with the AC system. So once I get that fixed, swap the gears. I'm thinking drop down to about a 373 and throw a 13 speed in it. I'm looking at easy 9.5 miles to the gallon off this old 23-year-old truck.
I will say this, and this is my question to you. So on my channel, we were just talking about the APUs. Okay, I know you got your standalone setup in here, right? And
my little redneck setup.
Yeah, you got your redneck ingenuity in full swing. So that's a beautiful thing. Do you think it's more cost effective to take out your secondary seat, take up your entire floor space on your passenger side, to run your AC setup like you got on your generator, or long term putting an APU on it? If you were holding the truck, let's say you got the truck.
If I hold this truck forever,
Yeah.
the idea, the perfect setup for this is going from the 2000 watt up to like a 3200 watt,
Okay.
with a boat tank for your added fuel,
Okay.
and putting a mini split on it.
Okay.
All day, I'm all in. I am about $2,800.
Okay.
Whereas if I put a true APU,
But you got to get gas.
yes, I got to get gas.
Right.
But having the boat tank
Yeah.
for the extra fuel,
Right.
and they make a cap for that generator,
Right.
where you can run that gravity feed into that generator. I mean, you're looking at 2 or 3 days
Yeah.
running it for your 10-hour shift off before needing to fuel up. That is the only downfall, is having to walk over to the gas pump and
Or
put fuel in
being
it.
aware of the place where there is gas, right, as opposed to diesel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, most truck stops
Well,
you stop
I
at,
know most do
you're
have
able
it,
to
but
get
I'm
gas.
saying, like, so there's little things like that, right, that we're looking at, and we're doing the same thing, right? We're evaluating costs in the same kind of situation, because it's like, is it better to do this or is it better to do that? My biggest thing is everything should run on the same fuel system. That's kind of how I like it, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
if I can run it all on diesel, I run on diesel. But I looked up diesel generators, and I was looking at like 8 to 10 grand just
Yeah.
buy a diesel generator. And so it's like, well,
An APU now with inflation, take a green APU. From last I've heard, they're up around 13 grand now.
oh yeah,
So, you figure in 2 grand total setup
Yeah.
between a mini split and a 3200 watt generator. You're going to have that on the truck a long time before you get to the point where it becomes more feasible to spend that upfront cash on the
what do you
on the
think?
green
What
APU.
do you think about an old truck like this with no fridge?
It becomes a hassle. It does.
I'm just
Now,
and
if
I'm
I
only
had-
saying it because I was looking at it and I was like, "Dadgum!" Like if you had to buy truck stop food all day, every day,
And
now,
that's where a mini split would come in handy, because it would free up where I have that little home AC
you put your iceless cooler and things like
and,
that, in
and
there,
put an iceless cooler right
or a
there.
fridge in there.
And
Yeah,
this isn't, like I said, this is it's got the 40, like a 46-inch bunk.
Yeah, it's
Either a 46 or a 48. So like a full F1, like a FLD 120.
oh yeah.
That you have that added space,
You'd be
you're
fine.
able to have that.
I think honestly, for the bang for the buck, for this. Now I will tell you, the trailer, the ramps, the things you've done there, as far as getting that trailer set up the way it is, that's primo. That trailer, by all
The
means,
trailer's worth more than I paid for the truck and
yeah,
the original trailer.
well, and
had.
I think that trailer, the way it's set up, is fantastic. Now those ramps, amazing. That ramp setup for guys that are in step deck and don't want to spend $8,000, dude, that you cannot beat being able to load a semi on a step deck or anything, equipment matter, you know, and move everything, adjust your height, adjust all your leveling. That's primo. Like, that is by far worth every penny you could ever spend on it, because I cannot tell you how beneficial it is to have that. Not having that, I mean, I know a lot of step decks. I know a lot of them, and we even have them, but they don't carry ramp systems like that. And it's like, without that, this whole thing we just had to go through, this whole rigmarole, isn't even possible to do, you know. And it's like, I mean, we showed up there literally Monday at 9 a.m. That Joker's warranty expired the next night at midnight. So literally, as of this morning at midnight, that Joker's out of warranty. If we did not get it up where we got it in time, it'd be a short show, you know. And then we're looking at front and everything. So how useful that is, I mean, that just saved our bacon, you know what I mean? So it's like, if it saved us, I know what it can earn, you know, and how quick it was to set up, easy. You know, it's like, so little things like that, that trailer being behind this truck all day long, the best money maker out here. And the crazy thing is as the appearance of this truck right here, I guarantee that truck earns more money than some of the newer trucks we see on the road. Guarantee it. Every week that truck puts more money.
I mean, you seen me. This was my dispatcher when I was running
long
the
ago,
truck.
yeah.
I mean, I was putting away 20 to 25 every 2 weeks, coming home for a week,
Yeah.
going back out, dropping another 20,
putting 25
25.
to 10 grand a week on the truck.
I think there was only maybe 3 weeks out of the total time I was with you that I didn't clear 10,000 a week.
Yeah. And to be honest, I mean, there was one month you did, like, I think you knocked out like 41, 42 grand in 3 weeks or something like that.
It's
3.5.
just under a month, just under 4 weeks.
Yeah,
It was like 3.5 weeks.
And we knew we did good because you called and said, "I'm good, financially set, guys, going home." Like,
I could have went home for a month.
yeah,
you know.
But I mean, that's the thing, right? Being set up to take anything, having that TWIC card on hand, having that tanker endorsement, a hazmat endorsement, having those things behind a good piece of equipment that's thought out. Like, you can tell every little thing that you've got on this truck has been intimately thought about. That's the thing that I like, because when you get around people that think like that.
And that is a single axle, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Not a tandem.
Yeah, and I mean, handled the truck just fine. Didn't even know the truck was behind it. This truck don't care. Like, it did not care what weight was on that trailer at all. Didn't give a damn. You can definitely tell the gearing. So the gearing sucks for high speed. Low torque, getting out off the gate, off the line, doesn't care at all.
I don't know if you got in it, but when you get in it off the low gear, it kind of wants to do that little.
Yeah, it wants to
pull
dip.
that left tire off the ground a little bit.
Yeah, it wants to take you out of there. I
Yeah.
mean, it wants to take you out of there. And when you hit the Jakes, boy, even the Jakes want to throw you into the dash. And I mean, which is a good sign. I mean, that truck's healthy, the motor's healthy, it runs right. But it's, I think as far as the way you've got it set up, that it's a moneymaker all day. And the great thing about it is, with you having that license, having that truck, having it ready to go for your particular situation, having it all paid for and done, just sitting out here, yeah, you got to cover some insurance on it, keep your authority live and what have you. But it's an immediate fallback. It's an immediate, baby, I need 40 grand. We're going to have to dip. I need 30 grand. I got to go. Like, hey, we just got laid off. I need to make some money. It's immediately there, nonstop.
Yeah.
That's the thing
That's the whole reason. I am paying $1,250 a month on insurance to keep the authority active, but I'm able to do that without a problem right now. I have a good fallback for when if I was to fail in trucking, to go back to oil field. If the oil field goes to crap, now I have the truck. I can fall back in it. So
I think it's a good setup, brother. I mean, you got everything you need on it. I caution people when they first get started, just with these older trucks, unless you're mechanically inclined, to take it easy, because you go to an auction, most guys are buying them at auction. You go to an auction, you look one truck over, you run a truck up and down the street, or maybe you start it and drive around the parking lot.
Yeah, say you find a truck down here in South Texas. What's that truck done? Oil field,
Yeah.
hauling sand.
Yeah.
Them guys treat them trucks like crap.
Yeah.
You do have some owner operators that have some beautiful rigs that haul sand that do, 4 or 5 miles an hour.
Worth too.
They know what they're worth.
They know what they're worth. I mean, I've seen. I got a buddy of mine who was looking at selling one, and I mean, every bit of 85,000, 90,000, but he knows every bit about it. He knows what he's got in it, and to be honest, it's worth every penny.
Yeah.
And right now, with the truck prices the way they are, these seem like a good option. And I just really get nervous because when guys go to an auction and buy them, they go in there, they're not mechanically inclined. They don't know how to hear a tick. They don't know if it's a knock. They're not sure if that's supposed to do that. If they see a cap wiggling, they don't know if it's supposed to wiggle. They're nervous and they get into it, but they get revved up. They get excited, right? Everybody's about the aesthetics. And I mean, I've got a friend who's got about $105,000, or no, not one of our drivers is a friend, $105,000 day cab, Peterbilt, all decked to the nines, painted to the T, chromed all the way out, right? In the shop every week in the shop. You know what I mean? $105,000 truck in the shop every week. And if you went solely on aesthetics, you might get, if you might walk past this truck and see a 387 sitting over here with this big Texas bumper on it and be like, boy, that's a good looking truck. Well, that truck would be a pile, and this truck's awesome. You know what I mean? And so it's like, for me, the way I look at it, I don't judge anything by aesthetics. It's all by how much money can you produce with a truck? How long does it stay on the road? How mechanically sound is it? How long can you keep it running? Because doesn't matter how you get in the game. Everybody's in the game.
Yeah. I mean, that's like this truck. Look at the hood. Look at the bumper. I mean, the truck's not beautiful, but it looks okay. But it makes money. It's functional. Everything's legal on it, and it runs. I mean, this rear-ending someone at 65, which wasn't my fault, but rear-ending someone at 65 miles an hour, it pushed that bumper in and then cracked a little bit of the hood. I took the tractor with a chain and pulled it back out, and boom, it's back on the road.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
yeah, I wanted to get a new hood for it. I wanted to get a nice chrome bumper, but why when it's functionable and it's putting money in the bank?
And it's one thing I said when I first started Hot Shot, right? I was killing it dispatching myself, making money in Hot Shot, right? $7,000-8,000 a week gross to myself, and then my operating costs were almost nothing, and I was able to take home quite a bit, right? And I remember a guy from a big fleet company coming up with his trainer, the trainer and his trainee pulling up to a fuel island. And I remember them looking over and the trainer making a snide comment to his trainee. And he was like, "Oh, that's cute," pointing at the Hot Shot. And I said, "What'd you say?" And, I'm fueling up and I can hear him talking, where they're cleaning the windows and everything. And he said, "Oh, I said that truck's cute." And I said, "No, man." I said, "What's cute? Your paycheck." I said, "That's cute." I said, "Because owner operators out here that know how to make money in this, they ain't no company drivers. They're killing it. If they're doing it right, they're killing it. Even with the market the way it is now, our rates are about right, but the fuel's still high. If you're living beneath your means and doing what you need to do and saving your money like you should, hell, you're still putting money in the bank. It ain't like you're losing out.
Yeah.
It's just you're not as easy as you were 2 years ago."
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I could help you out.
Killed it, brother. Yeah, we killed it.
I'm glad the truck held up after being parked for 3 months.
Yeah, that truck's a beast. That truck's every bit of a beast. Every bit of it. I mean, and I can't rave on it enough. I mean, shit, I was over there, 2 hours after driving it, calling you.
Yeah.
It's a beast, dude. It's a good truck. There's no doubt. I mean, you know what you're doing. And that's the thing that, that's why I push people to your channel, because when you're talking mechanics or trucks or knowledge, just us talking about the repairs with this, and, we're bouncing ideas. I'm talking about maybe doing a rebuild. You're like, well, unless it does this and then maybe this. And it's like, having that insight, right? Having those people. I mean, I'm not nearly as mechanically inclined as you are. So it's like, for me, who am I going to call? I'm going to call people that are mechanically inclined.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be like, all right, give me your opinion. Tell me what you think. And then that's how I grow my own understanding of this. But I think for what you've got going on, the way this is set up, it's a money-making machine, dude, all day long. Can't beat it. Can't beat it with a stick.
I'm glad I could help you out.
Yes, sir.
Let's get you back to the truck so you can go home.
Yeah, we'll drive this pile home.
We'll holler at y'all later.
Let me get my coloring book out of here.
All right.